Okay, thank you for the introduction, and I'm so pleased and very excited to be here, and especially talking about retail, which is like full of moving blocks right now. We don't know where it's going. Are we going to do only online shopping, or are we going to have stores like roboticized stores like Amazon Go, or is the truck going to deliver us everything? So we have today interesting panelists from very various business and technology background, from AI to hardware to mobile platform to drones. I would like each panelist to introduce themselves first, and so that we get the idea of what they're doing now. Okay, from Shohei-san, please.
Okay, thank you for the introduction. I'm Shohei Hido, Chief Research Officer of Preferred Networks. And Preferred Networks, PFN, is a Tokyo-based AI startup founded 3.5 years ago, and we have about 100 engineers and researchers in Tokyo, and we have 8 members in Bay Area, San Mateo office, and also, we work with Toyota Motors for their autonomous driving cars, and we work with Fanuc for manufacturing robots. So we do not do any business publicly around retail area, but we participated in Amazon Picking Challenge last year, and we got second prize at the picking task. Thank you.
Okay, and Andreas, please.
It's great to be here. So I'm Andreas Raptopoulos. I run a company down the road called Matternet. We build drone-enabled logistics platforms. So we build drones and ground stations and the software that coordinates all the assets together to be able to enable on-demand transportation of sensitive items initially in healthcare. And we've also have a keen interest in e-commerce. We became the first company in March of this year that has now extensive authorizations to fly over cities in Switzerland. We have an exclusive partnership there with Swiss Post, and we've just brought online the first hospital in the world, in any part of an industrialized nation, that is using Matternet to transport diagnostics and other medical items between hospital facilities in our first city in Switzerland called Lugano, and we're rolling out a few other cities in the next 12 to 15 months. And I'm coming back from Zurich. I was there last week. We were executing on our first e-commerce pilot with Mercedes-Benz vans. Mercedes-Benz, through their mother corporation, Daimler, is an investor in Matternet, and we have been working with them to develop systems to basically integrate vans and drones for e-commerce solutions.
Okay. You want to show a video?
I would love to, if it's possible.
Okay.
It's just 90 seconds, just showing how technology works. Please.
Okay, so can we play the video, please? It came in the last second, but I hope it works. No? Well, okay, so when it's ready. So Takayuki-san from IHI, could you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm pleased to be here. My name is Takayuki Nakayama. I'm from IHI. It's a Japanese heavy industry company. Our production is jet engines or power plant or turbochargers and etc. My mission is to develop the new product or services for using robot and advanced control systems. And I always think about the customer's value along with the business unit. The first field I worked on was logistics field, especially in the area around the warehouse. And this time I'm here on behalf of the CEO of IHI Logistics Machinery Corporation. It's a subsidiary company of IHI. And this year we developed the depalletizing system together with the Kinema system. They are the spun out from the SRI, and successfully we received the order, first order in Japan. In addition to the distribution business area, IHI has a wide range of customers in the manufacturing field also. Based on this success, we'd like to expand the range of activities. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. The video is ready, but can we probably go to Daniel first and then, yeah.
Hi, Daniel Theobald, Chief Innovation Officer and co-founder of Vecna Robotics, founded in 1998. So we're coming up on 20 years here, which would be exciting. We'll get out of those awkward teenage years. And also founder and president of Mass Robotics, a consortium of robotics companies focused on fostering the growth of the robotics industry worldwide. What Vecna does is provides a complete range of logistics robots, all the way from fully autonomous pallet handling equipment and tuggers, large heavy equipment, all the way down to very small robots that are very effective at handling an individual box or tote. And all of these robots are collaborative. They all run the same software. They can all work together. So essentially automating all of the horizontal transport for the world's largest retailers, manufacturers, and shippers.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. And can we play the Matternet video? Okay, thank you. Well, okay,
Yeah,
so
that's super cool.
yeah, super cool. Now, since we saw and it was so visual, I want to start asking Andreas the first question. We hear so much about drones, doing deliveries, but we talk about it so much, we haven't seen it. And when is it happening, and who will be doing it? And in your case, who is the customer? Are you running the operation itself, or is it a service model, or is it, what is it like?
This is not us.
Version 2.
Yes, all very good questions. And you're all invited to Switzerland. Come and sit. It's happening right now. And one of the biggest challenges when you are integrating a new technology into the fabric of our everyday lives is how do you integrate it. So we at Matternet are not big believers of a drone coming to your backyard and doing a delivery. We think that we're going to be using different types of interfaces. And you see one of our major interface here, which is the station. The station allows you to have a truly peer-to-peer asynchronous transportation model, right? So I can ship something to a station. Today, these stations, the first market we're going after is putting those stations outside healthcare facilities. Mm-hmm. Imagine a hospital system like Stanford. They have, the average hospital system like that has between 3 and 7 facilities. And they need things transported from one facility to another facility, right? And in this case, you saw blood samples, right? So imagine stations outside hospital facilities. The hospital personnel goes, scans something in, and then they forget about it. And it's like in a pneumatic tube, it's going to take it to the other side of town, maybe. This drone can transport up to 2 kilograms, 4.5 pounds, over 20 kilometers, 13 miles, completely autonomously. And one of the biggest challenges in integrating this, so number one challenge, what is the user interface? And I think we figured this out. The second challenge is how do you integrate this into the national airspace system? And this is not a trivial challenge, and the regulatory authorities around the world are trying to figure it out. The Swiss Federal Office of Civil Aviation are ahead of the curve in terms of figuring out how it's going to work. And we've been working with them since 2015 to integrate our systems into the national airspace system. So this is just the beginning. We believe that in the next 3 to 5 years, we'll see these types of systems scaling. In order to give you a sense of scale, right, in the place where we are right now, San Francisco Bay Area, we believe that there's going to be thousands of drones doing deliveries, right? And they will all occupy the lower part of the airspace, below 120 meters, 300 feet, or 400 feet, and they will operate completely autonomously with some command and control center in the background overseeing an operation at the sort of high level.
So in your case, the service is almost like intra-logistics service, but just via air.
Right. So our model right now is to become the technology platform. So we don't compete with UPS or FedEx. We want to give them the technology for them to be doing drone deliveries through our system. So in Switzerland, we have a partnership with Swiss Post. They are our customer, and then they have multiple healthcare systems being their customers. So they are the ones supplying the delivery service to them. We are supplying the technology components to achieve that.
Okay, all right, interesting. So Shohei-san,
Yes.
what Preferred Networks doing in terms of in retail area? Could you tell me your plan or what you're doing now or your vision?
Okay, so let me start with the collaboration with Fanuc. So Fanuc is, as you know, one of the largest industrial robot and manufacturing robot companies. So you may know Tesla uses Fanuc robot to manufacture their cars, and also, yeah, Foxconn uses Fanuc robot to build iPhones, iPads. So they are a hardware company and we are a software company, so it's very good fit, very complementary relationship with Fanuc, the world's largest industrial robotics company, and we can bring our intelligence, AI-based, deep learning-based intelligence into their robot system to make their industrial robot more intelligent and more adaptive. But the application is not limited to manufacturing, right? So we can use robot hand and robot arms to make some other things, or for the logistics, or picking items inside the retail inventory to pick items like the Amazon inventory. So that's what we can do now. So we work on such R&D project with possible customers in Japan. No business, no public news yet, but yeah, we see huge opportunity around retail and logistics area.
So, this was also talked about in our previous in the previous panels. But grasping is very difficult.
Right.
Grasping and also recognizing the objects.
Right.
And how long do you think it will take? I mean, we are hoping that AI will solve all these problems. But when I saw Amazon Picking Challenge or Amazon Robotics Challenge this year, almost all of them had AI in it. And maybe it will become a hardware problem soon, because how you design the hardware really matters, how you pick any certain objects. What's your view about how picking and all these capabilities will improve?
Yeah, from the hardware perspective, it's still hard to build human hand level of flexibility and durability. It's very hard. So dexterous hand is still in its infant phase, I think. So that's why most of the teams at Amazon Picking Challenge, Amazon Robotics Challenge uses vacuum hand or gripper hand, right? And actually we used both at last year challenge. And vacuum hand is very versatile. It's very efficient to pick many kinds of objects. If it's light enough, and also there's no mesh type of surface, then it's good to pick such objects. But we think that AI can still make progress how to pick, like not like humans, but there should be some good way to pick many kinds of objects, even if it's piled or the obstacles are overlapping with the items. So now the perception problem is being solved by using deep learning technologies. I mean, the perception system is at the human level stage, but the grasping phase, the picking planning is still hard. How to pick, where to pick. So we are investing on such research and development, how to optimize such robot arms and robot hands control from the beginning, end to end, by using deep learning.
I see. So, when you think about it, it's like some people go just suction cup and vacuuming,
Right.
and then some people are really still trying to design like 5-finger hands and everything. And then like Amazon Robotics Challenge this year, they asked the teams to design the bins as well.
Right.
So it's like a really different system in one scene. Do you think you should work on the AI? Do you think you should work on the hand? Or do you think you should work on how you line a certain product on the shelf? All these things are there to think about. What's the best approach, do you think, in the logistics or in the retail area? Is it different from now to 5 years from now, or from 10 years from now? Or how do you draw the roadmap?
Yeah, very interesting question, I think. Yeah, if you can design the whole logistics and retail and some other picking system, everything in one place by yourself, like Amazon, then it can be very efficient by designing all the system end to end by using the existing latest technologies like suction hands, paper hands, AI planning system, recognition system, whatsoever. But the problem is that other companies do not have such freedom, a degree of freedom. They have to handle the existing inventory, existing warehouses by using existing robots. So how to make it more better is the problem, I think.
I see. I see.
Can I jump
Daniel,
in
you
for
might
1 second?
have experience in working behind the stores, right? Could you tell me your insights?
Well, absolutely. The grasping problem is something that I think we're going to see a lot of disruption over the next few years. And robotics is still very much an academic pursuit. And in academics, we tend to gravitate towards hard problems. And what we're going to see over the next few years is a lot of cheating. And cheating is good, right? You want to simplify the problem as much as possible in order to actually get something that can work robustly 24/7, millions and millions of picks a day in a large facility. So it's a combination of KISS, we've all heard that, keep it simple, stupid, and make sure that we're solving the right problems to start with, right? You have to crawl before you can walk, before you can run. So suction cups are great, and where suction cups work, we should use suction cups. And you only should use the more advanced technology as it's actually necessary and provides the return on investment. We sort of have to get over our fascination with, exciting, complicated robots and really solve the problem in the simplest, most cost-effective fashion as possible. And then that's going to allow us to then bootstrap to more and more complex, more and more human-like capabilities over time. But we need to build that foundation first. And so, it's a combination of, using simple but robust hardware and then choosing the problem that hardware solves and taking that as far as you can, and then only when necessary, now let's make the system more complex because we can now handle, a bigger range of objects, and that can provide the return on investment.
I see. Thank you. So Takayuki-san, where does IHI seeing the market opportunity in retail?
Yes, in Japan, aging program proceeding at a very fast speed, and it's difficult to secure the labor force. So we'd like to use the robot instead of a human, but and the difficulty is, as you said, that it is difficult to adopt a robot instead of a human because a human picks maybe 1,000 items per hours, but the robot can only 600 or less than it. So at this moment, it is difficult to adopt the robot now, but I think we should put the robot in the field as soon as possible. And as you said, we'd like to gradually develop, and we'd like to use it in the future, use it as instead of human.
Now, when we think about retail / logistics and robotics, we cannot talk this, topic without thinking about Amazon. I feel like my life is really invaded by Amazon by, like 80%. I'm, handling all the boxes every day, and I'm doing online shopping maybe every 2 days or something, and I think everybody else is the same. And what do you think, you could be a collaborator to Amazon, but you may be a competitor to Amazon. And how do you position Amazon? I mean, do you try to do the same, or do you try to find the way that Amazon might not be able to do? Or, how do you position yourself in the world of Amazon? Maybe can I start with you, Andreas?
Yes. So one of the way that I look at e-commerce today, right? I mean, a few years ago, it was okay to go online and order something, and maybe you have it delivered within a week or 5 days, right? And in the last couple of years, personally, when I'm going on Amazon and I see that someone doesn't offer delivery within 2 days, I just try to find another merchant, right? And the question we're asking ourselves is, how long will it take for us to not accept delivery with, beyond an hour or beyond like the same day, right? So this is an interesting question to reflect on, because when that customer expectation happens, the capacity that we will need to have in our logistics systems to be able to deliver within, the next hour is going to look something completely different to what it is today, right? So there's going to be a new landscape, and in that landscape, I sort of assume that Amazon will be a leader. I also assume that Google will try and compete. And then there's a question on what does FedEx, what does UPS, what do the National Post do, right? And our role in the ecosystem is to basically give these guys the technology platform that they need to be able to build the capacity in that way. So will we be a competitor to Amazon? We will be creating basically a technology that will be able to build capacity to some partners / competitors of Amazon. I remember having a discussion with one, senior vice president of one of the big logistics companies, and I asked him the same question: do you see yourselves like competing with Amazon, partnering with Amazon? And he said, Andreas, in today's world, everybody's competing with everybody and partnering with everybody at the same time, and it's that type of like interwoven relationship, and I think that's what's going to be happening. So I believe that Amazon may be partnering with Swiss Post in Switzerland, and Swiss Post is using our system. At the same time, we may be offering a system to FedEx, and Amazon may be competing with FedEx in Seattle, right? So I think we're going to see that type of universe forming.
And then drone technology per se, Amazon is working on drones, right? Delivery drones. What is it that you have that Amazon doesn't have in terms of drone technology?
Nobody knows what Amazon has, right?
Right.
And so, it's...
I thought you knew.
No, I don't think anybody knows. It'd be great if they know. No, seriously, I mean, that would be a good thing. But what we have is that we're a startup whose whole business is drone delivery. So, we're able to just take some extraordinary risks to be the most successful startup in our area, and basically feed on the ecosystem that picks technology companies that may win in a space and take them further. So if I was to compare hard facts today, what we have is, I think, the first ever deployments over a city like Zurich. And I think Amazon's closest, and I just came back from Zurich, we were deploying there our technology in partnership with Mercedes-Benz and an e-commerce retailer, and we were doing customer deliveries, flying over Zurich, highly populated areas. The closest that Amazon has gotten to this publicly, right, is a delivery very close to the retail center or the distribution center in England, around Cambridge. So in terms of public milestone, that's something I can compare. But of course, that would be a naive view. These guys are developing the technology platforms that will allow them to scale, and we're trying to do the same thing. And what you see as track record publicly is not necessarily reflecting the state of everybody's technology.
Okay, thank you. How about you, Daniel? What do you think in the world of in the Amazon, and how do you position yourself?
Yeah, so certainly Amazon has done some really incredible things. And they've taken advantage of what I would call the consumer convenience model. Right? If you want to predict the next big success, what you're looking for are things that make life more convenient for the consumer and are affordable, right? You can make a play with what I would call the novelty play, right? Robots are cool, and actually early on in iRobot, this is what happened. The robots didn't really work. They didn't really do a good job of cleaning your floor, but the novelty of having a robot in your home was big enough that people would go ahead and buy them. And then they've been able to actually get them to a point where they're, provide a valuable service as well. But convenience ultimately drives everything. Right, and I had the exact same experience. I'm buying something on Amazon last night, and I'm like, oh, this one's not going to get here for a week. No, I'm totally going to take this one because it's coming tomorrow. And maybe I even pay a few more dollars for it. I don't care, right? So convenience drives everything. So in terms of where we're positioning ourselves is, again, very similar. We're working with all of them. And the idea that we can provide a complete end-to-end solution that doesn't just do goods to person. Goods to person is when an Amazon robot picks up a shelving unit, brings it to the picker, and then the human picks off of it and it puts the shelf back. That's what we call goods to person. We do goods to person. We also do person to goods. We also do goods to robot. And so what we've found in our research is that depending on the particular item, we call it SKU velocity, whether it's a fast-moving item that people are buying off the shelf all the time, or a slower-moving object, the fulfillment model actually needs to change to achieve, sort of optimal efficiency and lowest cost per unit. So sometimes there's a goods to person model, sometimes there's a person to goods model. Well, you can only accomplish that kind of flexibility if you've got a diverse robotic fleet that can all collaborate, not just with human beings, but like we talked about, or I think Heinrich talked about earlier this morning, but the robots can actually collaborate with each other as well. So it really provides a much more robust, complete end-to-end solution.
How about Takayuki-san? Is there any strategy in IHI against or for Amazon?
We are not competing with Amazon, and we are a user or warehouse system vendor for Amazon. And I think I feel the foresight that Amazon standardizes their package. The package is very important for distribution. It is if the package is the same, robot can pick every boxes. So I think it's a very important thing. And in the future, I feel that the vertical integration will be advanced in the retail and the logistics process. And recently, we have some customers, they have some distribution centers, and they are requiring us to adjust the order of products and ship them according to the shelves allocation in the shop stores. And also they ask us to design the system to correspond to the shortage of human resource. So I think these logistic technology leads maybe differentiation of the retail fields, I think. So, I think that I believe that vertical integration will be advanced in the retail and logistic process.
Okay, thank you. Now, I understand, Shohei-san, that Amazon has some sort of really strange patent called predictive delivery or something. So Amazon now knows who is going to order what in how many hours, so that they will put the item on the truck already, and the truck will be sort of surfing around in the area, and as soon as the customer clicks, the truck will be in front of the house in a minute or something. Is that something that you think will happen in the future? And how do you think you will work, or you will be competitive with Amazon?
It will come, definitely. I mean, that application, how should I say? Delivery before you order, right?
Yeah,
it will come, I think.
It will come.
Yeah. But we are just AI software company, so we don't have to compete with Amazon. We are not Rakuten.
Online shopping
we are not
company.
Best Buy. We are not
Right.
Walmart. But in the AI technology, we have to compete Amazon because they should work on the similar problems with us already. Yeah, but they are not do everything by themselves type of company. They acquired Kiba systems, for example, for the robots. So we have to. That's why we are aggressively hiring good talents around Tokyo and all over the world, and push hard to push the boundary what we can do with the robot by using deep learning technologies until Amazon gave up and pay for us. Actually, I saw an article, New York Times article, and they already installed Fanuc robot inside one of the fulfillment center in Florence.
Okay.
But that's not perfect. So one lady taking care of the robots next to them to make sure that robots are working correctly. So
I see.
Some opportunity around that. That's why.
So after you won second place in Amazon Picking Challenge last year,
Yes.
were you contacted by Amazon? Or you can't tell?
I think I can tell. Yeah, at least they told all the participants to release all the code open source as open source. Yeah. So we did it. Yeah. So clearly, Amazon would like to look around. See some acquiring opportunity. Maybe I don't know. Yeah, but I didn't hear anything about Amazon Picking Challenge based acquisition or something around that. Yeah, until now. Yeah.
I see. Okay. So now that we think we're talking about retails, but now we're talking also about logistics. And I think these two areas, which used to be separate, are kind of merging. And what is happening, and what is going to be this industry like in 2 years or 3 years even? Do you have any idea, Daniel?
Well, Amazon, what they did was they realized that logistics was the key. And that's what really differentiated them. It used to be that when people talked about logistics, it was just a cost center, right? Is this necessary evil, but you're not going to win any customers or lose any customers with your logistics. It was just something that needed to happen. And what Amazon showed was that if you make logistics your core strategy, your core competency, and I can get that product, the right product at the right time, quickly and conveniently onto their doorstep, everything else is secondary to that. And they've got a great website, they've got great machine learning and their user experience, all that's great. But what makes the difference at the end of the day is that I can go on there, get that product that I want, and it shows up fast, and it's right most of the time. So I think that's, that really is the clarion call for what consumers are going to expect going forward. It's a little bit scary how the internet is creating this massive consolidation. And, sometimes I'm not sure I like where things are going, because personally I'm somebody who likes a lot of competition. I like a lot of options. But yet I always end up on Amazon at the end of the day to buy my stuff. Why is that, right? It's because human beings are lazy, right? I may value the mom and pop store down the street, and I may think it's a great thing, but when push comes to shove, I need to get something, I go to Amazon. So, I think what we're going to see, of course, is a trend towards the Amazons of the world also filling that local store, and we've already started to see that, right? Amazon has started to open up some brick and mortar facilities. But it's really just going to be one massive integrated network. It's going to be much more like a theoretically perfect marketplace than ever before, because you're going to be able to search for a product. There are going to be services that are going to find the closest product to your location, and it's going to get it to you quickly. And I think that's going to be a great thing. And we just have to, also just think about how we keep, everybody gainfully employed, or at least doing things that are meaningful and produce, good life.
Yeah, Andres?
Perhaps at so over the last, 10, 15 years with the proliferation of the internet, and then over the last 10 years with smartphones, we've made a complete transition into on-demand information consumption patterns, right? So the concept of me storing information, trying to basically predict what information I need and gathering it so I have it accessible has gone away, right? So, for the most part, whenever I need information, I'm able to access it right now, and that creates a very dynamic pattern of consumption of information. I think the same is going to happen with physical goods, right? So I think we will transition over the next 10, 15 years into a truly on-demand consumption model for physical goods. And the enabling technology, equivalent to smartphone and the internet before, I think the enabling technology is robotics, right? So robotics and AI are creating this amazing opportunity to just completely transform how we access goods every day.
I see.
Right? So I think that's the fundamental shift in our civilization.
Right, okay. One of the last questions I want to ask about is human-robot interaction, or some humanity factors in this area, in logistics and retail with robotics. Is there any interesting vision, Shohei-san, about how humans should be interacting with robots in logistics or retail area?
So talking about the AI fear, so AI will replace humans in the future. I think no such radical change will come, like thousands of jobs cut one day or one night. So the change will come gradually. So in that sense, AI is not AI and AI-based robots are not so such thing to fear. And as Takayuki-san said, in Japan, we will be facing the lack of workforces. So Japanese government try to fill the gap between the labor demand and supply by using robots. That's another issue. So yeah. So as I said, still human is better at some tasks, not currently grasping. So I think robot will work with humans in some sense. Yeah.
Okay. Are there any questions from the audience? Okay, I have still several questions. So what will we be doing in 5 years? Will we be seeing a lot of drones flying in the air and a lot of autonomous delivery cars going around? But are we still going to shops? And are there a lot of robots in the warehouse? And how do you see it, Daniel?
You know, one of the things that I think we're going to see, which maybe isn't right on the radar right now, is a lot of move towards what I would call secondary markets. So today we want something, we go and we buy it new, right? But we all then look in our garages or our spare rooms and they're just piled high with stuff. And, Lyft and Uber and, there's lots of other, Airbnb, there are lots of sites now about how can we more effectively share the physical things. Because, if everybody has to have one of everything, that doesn't really scale very well. I might only need something for a short period of time. And so this idea that, I could put in some request and say, hey, I need this widget for 3 hours. I don't want to buy one. I mean, I could afford to buy one, sure, but what am I going to do with it when I'm done? And then, his drone can find one locally, bring it to me. I can use it when I'm done with it. It sort of goes back into the cloud in a sense. I think we're going to see a lot more of that. This idea of, everybody having their own car or everybody having their own whatever. Is kind of nice in some sense, but it's not going to scale. And so I think this idea that we're going to share a lot more and we're going to use technology to enable us to share effectively, I think it's going to be a trend that you're going to see over the next couple of decades.
Great. Okay, thank you. Well, I have numerous questions still to ask, but we will continue our discussion. And time is up for this stage. And so I would like to thank you for participating. Thank you.
Thank you.